Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher, and I also love to doodle. So this is day 15 of my March Doodle Challenge, where we are doing 31 days of a doodle every day. All right, so here is my cute little journal, and inside of it I have the first 14 days. All kinds of fun things going on. So some of these are going to be Zentangle patterns, and some of them are just going to be cute little drawings. So hopefully you've watched the first 14. Yesterday we did, my goodness, there's so many. Yesterday we did this adorable little St. Patrick's Day gnome. He's so cute. So today is day 15. And day 15, according to this March Doodle Challenge prompt created by cutelittlepaper.com, says for day 15, let's make a rainbow. Okay, we are going to do that. So I've got my journal, my Micron pen, I have my graphite pencil and my blending tool. I also have my colored Sakura Jelly Roll Stardust pens. And I do have these linked in the description of this video if you don't have them. But you could also just use colored pencil or paint or markers, whatever you have. All right, so 15 is going to be rainbow. So I encourage you to do whatever you want to do. You do not need to follow my videos. You can just take the journal prompt rainbow and do whatever you would like. But what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to make a whole bunch of little mini rainbows. And I'm essentially using the crescent moon pattern from Zentangle. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper. So crescent moon is one of the basic Zentangle patterns that starts with this little dark shape. And then you put a line over it. And then of course you can enhance it by adding more lines and other things, but that's kind of what I'm thinking as I'm doing this one today. All right, so I am not going to darken them in, but I am going to put in a little bump, and I'm making that bump about the same size as my fingernail. Then I'm going to aura it, which means I'm going to make a line that hovers near it. And then I'm going to do it again. Okay, so that is the basic pattern. I put in 3 lines, which leaves 2 spots to color in or decorate in. And then it's up to you if you want to leave your ends open, or you want to close them with a straight line, or maybe you want to close them with a curved line. So I think I'm going to close mine with a little curve. I just think that looks cute. So I'm going to start with just a 2-section one. And then I'm going to do another one, and I'm just going to put this one near that first one. Again, trying to make this about the size of the tip of my fingernail. And this time I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 lines, and then I'm going to try to put in a 4th. And I'm just imagining it coming out the other side of this one, so it's tucked in behind. And then if I were to take a piece of paper and put this underneath, you can see that like my lines are not straight. That's okay, but if you want to, you can try to fix those and make them come down so they're a little more even. Then I'm going to do those little curves again just because I think they are cute. Now we have 2 little rainbows on top of each other. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to turn my paper a little bit, and I'm going to do one over here. About the size of my fingernail. I'm letting it tuck in behind the ones that are already there. And I'm going to do another one that just has two, just so this little guy isn't left alone. I'm going to do another one this way. So if you want there to be 3 areas, then you do 4 lines. All right, now I'm going to stop for just a second. So I love how relaxing this is. I don't have to think too hard about it. I can just put in as many of those single lines as I want, and then I can connect them underneath. So nice and easy, nice and relaxing. I am going to go back and add some designs and decorations in these, but I also want to show you another way to do this. So let's do one. I'll do one right here. So I'm going to put in my first little bump. And we want it to have a nice tall curve. If it's too flat, then our rainbow ends up being kind of flat. But then maybe for the second line, I will do something a little bit different. So I'm going to, and you can always take your pencil and just kind of give yourself a guide. And for this one, I'm just going to make it like a little bumpy. It's so cute. Then I'm going to go and do another regular one. I think I'll just leave it like that. Put in those little bottoms. If I wanted to do another row, then I can take my pencil and I can just kind of pencil in where I want that next one to go. And I can put in that curve again. Just fun to play with different variations. All right, I'm going to do one over here. I'm going to do that first part, just a regular bump. And I'm going to do a second regular bump. And again, trying to make these line up on the bottom. I'm going to do my third one in pencil. And for this one, instead of making my little bumps go in, I'm going to make them kind of scoop out like a sunshine. So cute. And I'm going to do one more that's straight. All right, I'm going to do one down here. I'm going to purposely make this one a little bit larger. So I'm going to try to make like maybe my thumbnail size. A little bit wider. And I'm going to make the auras be a little bit wider so I'm taking up more space. And then this next one's going to bump into a whole bunch of things. And for the bottom of this one, I'm going to go and I'm going to make my bumps go up. If you don't like that, you don't have to do it. But I just think it's fun to kind of play around a little bit. So, all right, I'm going to do one over here. I'm going to do a pencil line for that second layer. And the second layer, I'm going to do some little loops. That pencil line just helps me stay on that nice curve. Look at those cute little loops. And I feel like this one needs another layer, so I'm just going to make it a straight layer. And then I'm going to add some decorations, and then we can go back and add more of these cute little rainbows if you want. So on this big outer one I just did, I made a straight line, but now I'm going to add these little hearts on the edge of that, right over that line, and color them in. It adds so much. Isn't that so cute? Then if I want, I can add a matching heart down here in the center. I'm going to do some more hearts. I'm going to pick one of these smaller ones, and I'm going to put some little hearts just right through the center of one of those open areas. Underneath it, I'm going to put some polka dots. On the outside of this one, I'm going to put some little petals like a flower. If you don't like this, don't do it. Please don't do it. This is your doodle page. We're just having fun. I'm going to put some little circles inside those. And to match those little circles, I'm going to put some right on the line of this little bottom section. All right, I'm going to come up here to this larger one, and I'm going to put a little flower underneath. I'll do a little black circle, and then I'll just put some bumps around it. And up here, I'm going to do some little tiny leaves like a vine. And I'm going to put a vine on this one as well. In my vine, I try to go like a sad face, a happy face, sad face, happy face. Does that make sense? Just a curve, and then I get a nice point. If you want, you can pick up one of your gel pens or decorating pens. And I'm going to add some stripes in here with my red pen. This is personally my favorite kind of drawing, where it's a little bit Zentangle in the fact that we're just making the same thing over and over and over again. But then we have these little elements that we can add to make it pretty without having to like be too creative or try to make a perfect looking gnome or a hyacinth or something particular. We just get to play. We get to play with dots and lines and curves. And I think it's so fun. I pick up a different color pen. I'll put in some circles. And down here I'll put in some that are colored in. I think I actually want these colored in as well. I don't really like them empty. I can go down here to this little rainbow. I can just add a little green line. Can add a little blue. Put some polka dots through this one. Go back to my black pen and I'm going to add a couple more of these little rainbow shapes. I'm going to give this one another line just so that it bumps into the other ones. You could even do some teeny tiny ones. You don't even have to fill in the bottoms. You can just make these little floating tiny ones if you want. And those would be cute with a colored pen. I'm going to add the tiniest little heart in there by making a little V. I'm going to add a heart under this one. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to do any more quite yet, but I do want to do some shading. So I think this looks very pretty. I love how they're all crisscrossing. I love the bits of color, but now I do want to give it some depth. So I'm going to pick that very first one that I made. That was just 3 little lines, nice and basic. And it looks like it's going over the top of this one up here, the top of this one, and the top of this one. So I'm going to add some of my graphite around the outside edge of that whole rainbow. So not the inside, that outside edge. right over the top of the other ones and right over the top of that outside edge where the paper is. Okay, I take my blending tool and I'm going to push that up and away. Out and away. And now just take a peek at my page and look at how that rainbow looks like it's lifting off the paper. It's so pretty. Now I'm going to take another one right next to it. I'm going to do the same thing. So we can't see the outside edge of here. It's hidden behind that one. But I can put some over here. And where it goes over this one. Where it goes over that background. And over this guy. And then even back in here where it kind of peeks out. Take my blending tool and I'm going to push it out and away from that line. Out and away. Okay, I'm going to pick another one. I pick this one over here. Outside edge of that rainbow. All of the outside edges that I can see. And whenever we shade, we want the darkest part against the line, and then we want it to just sort of blend out into the white nice and softly. Okay, look at this bottom part of my paper, how flat it looks, and look at this part up here. It's just so amazing. All right, I'm going to keep going. I think I'm going to do every single one, not those little itty bitty ones, although I could if I put little bottoms on them. But every time I do one, it just lifts off the page. Look at that. This one down here that has the hearts, it's okay. I can just go right along that edge. You do not need a lot of graphite for this. So you can just kind of trace that edge. And look at this little one right here. I did not do the outer edge yet, and it looks kind of flat. So let's see if we can add that bit of graphite and make it pop off the page a little bit. Look at that. I keep saying look at that, but I'm just so excited. These ones look amazing. And then these three back here just look like they're so flat on the page. All right, I have 2 more to do. So these ones with the bumps, are a little bit trickier, but just kind of outline them real quick with your pencil. Try to stay as close to that line as you can. You don't really want white in between your pencil and that edge. And I've got one more to do up here. That looks so cool. I love it so much. All right, I'm gonna take my pen. I'm just gonna add a couple more to my paper. And again, I like to have them overlap, so I'm going to intentionally put my little fingernail size first bump right next to another one. I'll put a swirl in the middle there. And then inside one of these, I'm going to do some little loops right on that inside. And I'm going to do some in here as well. I could also add like a little sunshine rays coming off of this. Again, this is your paper. You do what you want. All right, I want to tuck one in here. Maybe kind of a little baby one. I think it needs one more layer. I'm going to put some circles on that outer edge. And a heart down in the bottom, just because I'm liking hearts right now. If you have a lot of empty spaces, then just fill them in with little hearts or teeny tiny little rainbows. Add a heart down here. You could even put in some little swirls. I'm going to grab my pencil and do some more shading on these last couple that I made. The outside edge, underneath. Go to the next one. Gel pens, add some fun details. It's going to be hard to see this yellow, but I'm just adding some stripes in one of these rainbows. And some polka dots. Some stripes down here. Now it's just kind of like your own little coloring book. I'm going to take my green and do some of these leaves green. I can add some stripes inside these mini ones to give them some color. Can even do a stripe on the outside of those mini ones to give it some color. Look how pretty that looks. And maybe I'll throw in some little pink hearts. Once I get doodling, I have a hard time stopping, so. Oh, it's just so fun. I didn't even have a plan for this page. I just knew I wanted to do some little crescent moon type rainbows, and then here we are with this page filled with adorable little rainbows. I'm going to take my pen and add some dots around some of these mini ones. Look how cute that looks. Just a few little dots makes it look so fancy. Do a zigzag on this one. So I always think of, grab a piece of scrap paper. So Zentangle has this, and it's not just a Zentangle thing, but they call it ICOS or ICOS. I'm not even sure. But basically, the letters of your name and any fun little doodles, any patterns you make will either have straight lines, dots, curves, circles, or like a double curve like an S. So when I'm like filling things in and decorating, besides like my little hearts or leaves, I think of these. I think of straight lines. I think of adding curves to things. I think of adding circles. I didn't add any S's, but you get the idea, ICOS. So you can always think of that when you're trying to add little patterns. Okay, I think we did a good job. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Beautiful rainbows, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.